Okay, so in the Soweto derby, right, there are a lot of key battles that are gonna be taking place in this much anticipated clash, between the two Soweto Giants, right, at the FNB Stadium. One thing that is for certain is the fact that yes, both teams haven't really been at their best this season, and it is basically a mid-table clash. Disappointingly, it's not a top of the table clash. It's not a clash whereby we actually looking forward to much, right? It is just a matter of the fact that we just looking forward to the fact that this is a historical game. You understand? It's a historic game. This is a game whereby it divides South Africa. It's a game whereby it has got so many supporters that are involved, right? Because Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs are the two most supported teams in the country. So that's the reason why this clash is still anticipated. Regardless of the fact that both teams have really been, below par this season, because understanding the fact Orlando Pirates is supposed to be the team that is supposed to be challenging Mamelodi Sundowns for the league title this season, but they've been far off the pace. They've been very inconsistent. They've been very complacent. They haven't been able to get those, those much needed results when, required to. Even the midweek game against the Urban Warriors at Orlando Stadium, they were supposed to just get all 3 points, which could have sent them to second place, right? And remember, second place does help you secure Champions League qualification at the end of the day, even though it doesn't really do much for you in terms of like challenging Mamelodi Sundowns, who are the runaway leaders. Ironically, despite the fact that they've played 2 games less or 3 games less than most of the teams in the DStv Premiership, and they just had another game that was postponed, the game that they were supposed to partake against with the Rockets at the Mbombela Stadium, due to the fact that the TS Galaxy bus was in a accident. So that's why the reason why the game was actually postponed. It had to be rescheduled. One of the key battles that I will actually put on the list is the battle between Relebogile Mofokeng as well as Zita Kunika. One thing that I just don't understand is the reason why Kevin Johnson keeps on playing Kunika at right back, even though naturally he's a centre back. But I'm predicting the fact that since Kevin Johnson has consistently played Zita Kunika at right back, I'm expecting to see him there in this particular game, and it won't be any exception. Because you look at right Thoma Raifetsa, Relebogile Mofokeng, in the past few games, Mofokeng has actually been, a point of attack for Orlando Pirates. And he will be the case, in the Soweto derby as well. We look at the skillful teenager, he has an amazing ability to actually make the C Robbers tick. That's exactly what we saw in the midweek tie against, Cape Town Spurs. And his confidence actually did receive a massive boost after he scored a wonderful goal, in that 1-1 draw against Cape Town Spurs on Wednesday evening. Whereas you look at Kuinika, for example, he's a natural centre back, who has actually been played at the right back in the build up to the clash. He will actually have to bring up his A game in neutralizing the 19-year-old star. And I wonder how is he going to do that, because remember, first of all, Kuinika doesn't really have the pace compared to the youngster. Number 2, Kuinika is not the type of player who makes overlapping runs compared to your Solomons as well as Frosler. Number 3, Kuinika is a hard tackler, So if ever he finds himself having forced, when you're coming up against a player like Relebogile Mofokeng, chances are you will be forced to make those tackles that are unnecessary, and it can cost you so much. It can even cost the team, because perhaps he could get a yellow card, and then if he's not careful, receive his marching orders. At a point in time where, coming into this massive encounter for both clubs, Kaizer Chiefs really need a result, just to get their season back on track, just to give their fans something to celebrate about, just, to serve as a reminder that at least they still have it in them. They can still be recognized as a top club, and it goes back to the fact that, I'm really not looking forward. I'm really not looking forward to the derby, because of that very fact that there's nothing really much to look forward to, apart from the fact that we know this is like 2 of South Africa's most supported clubs. However, this is a mid-table clash. And how do you look forward to a mid-table clash? You know, it's just very disappointing how these two sides have actually, have merged this season, and they haven't really been at their best. They haven't really given us any reason to actually celebrate, any reason to actually look forward to this particular encounter. However, second of all, another key battle to look forward to is the one between Pule Modi as well as Thapelo Xoki. Pule Modi versus Thapelo Xoki. And this particular battle, for Chiefs, in order for the Chiefs attack, to be, very dangerous, to pose any sort of real threat, the attack is likely to be centered around, the industrious Pule Modi. And you look at the fact that the former Golden Arrows man, played a key role in helping Amakosi, down his former team, on Tuesday and register their maiden victory of the year. He was the one who actually gave away the easy assist to Wandi Leduba, who scored a wonderful goal. And his speed and his skills will actually be of crucial concern for the Buccaneers. But they will actually hope that Xoki, comes better prepared and keeps Modi in check, for the duration of the game. And we do know that Thapelo Xoki, on his best day, he will get the job done for the Sea Robbers. And then the next key battle that I would like us to look forward to is the one between, obviously, Evidence Makgopa versus Given Msimango. Okay. On this one, Given Msimango again hasn't been called up to the Bafana squad, even though he's a solid defender. Yes, Makgopa, congrats to him. He has been called up once again to the Bafana squad that is going to be scheduled to play those friendlies. Okay, but let's just get straight into the chase, man. We'll get back to that one. You look at the Pirates boss, Jose Rivero. He really has so much faith in Makgopa. However, it has been, reported in recent days that Makgopa is actually a doubt for the Soweto derby. As it was said that he picked up an injury, in the clash against Polokwane City last Saturday. But the forward is most likely to start against Kaizer Chiefs, as the injury is not said to be a serious one. And if he does feature in the particular clash, Makgopa will actually be key for the Buccaneers up front. Remember, he did score in the reverse fixture. So Makgopa is currently Rivero's best performing striker, and he also did very well at Bafana in the African Cup of Nations. And Msimango will be the man who will be expected to actually make sure that Makgopa doesn't make any scoring, a fixture, in the fixture a habit, because the defender has been the center of Amakosi's solid display at the back. Give credit to Kaizer Chiefs for their defensive displays. They haven't really conceded many goals in their past 7 games. They only conceded once, which came in that game against Tswane United, which I remember for a fact that goal was not supposed to stand because Mukwana came from an offside position. However, Chiefs have only just, conceded a single goal in their last 8 outings in all competitions. So give credit must actually go to Given Msimango. And the next key battle I'll also look forward to is the one between Yusuf Mart versus Makahleni Makaula. This particular derby, promises to deliver one of the most exciting battles in the center of the park. Obviously between Yusuf Mart as well as Makahleni Makaula. And Makahleni, appears to actually be in his best form since he joined the Buccaneers in the middle of last season. He has actually started all of the Pirates games, the 4 games this year, and he has actually been one of the standout players. Whereas Mart has featured in 4 Soweto derbies now. He even scored 2 goals plus that wonder goal that he scored last season, from range in that 1-0 victory. And, whoever's going to win the battle between the two will actually give his side a better chance of actually claiming all maximum points in this particular encounter. So, yeah, man, that's all I can just say, man. I'm really not excited that much because there's really not much to drive home about it, because this is a mid-table clash, and a mid-table clash, you don't often look forward to it, but it's still a derby at the end of the day. So please just give me your own subs. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I hope you did enjoy the video. Just mention your predictions. Who do you think will claim all bragging rights between Amakosi as well as the Sea Robbers, the Buccaneers, and we'll be in touch pretty soon. Cheers, man. And then in your DStv Premiership news, it is very disappointing to say the least that, there are teams that you expect to be challenging, providing a huge challenge there at the top of the table, at the top of the pile. But they continue just to slip up at the crucial moments. And I'm referring to Cape Town City because they did slip up once again, losing 2-0 away from home to Royal AM. So Royal AM won by 2-0 at the Herigwala Stadium on Sunday afternoon against the Citizens. And obviously coming into this one, you would fancy the Citizens to get an easy win, a much needed 3 points to actually boost, challenge Stellenbosch, challenge the likes of Orlando Pirates to actually for that second spot, But of course, that's the thing about teams. A lot of these teams are just not consistent enough to actually challenge, provide any meaningful threat to end the dominance of Mamelodi Sundowns. So Royal AM, they did bag some crucial points, And Royal AM made 5 changes, from the coach John Maduka, and you could tell that from the performance of Tuihli Twahla, they really, the body language said it all, and Royal AM managed to get, a 2-0 victory against the visiting hard-running Cape Town City, on Sunday afternoon at the Herigwala Stadium in the KZN's capital, Pietermaritzburg. And it was, goals that were scored by striker Sedwin George in the 34th minute, as well as, Sabelo Sithole in the 57th minute. And it was actually obvious from the outset, that the home team were actually playing to win at all costs. And the changes actually saw, the Eastwood-born experience, George back in the starting 11, partnering with Motabeng Serra, the Lesotho striker. The visitors concentrated, brilliantly on passing the ball around and really looked dangerous to win, when they were in possession. And the Citizens, their first real opportunity to score came in the 4th minute, but Khanyisa Mayo's free kick went straight into the goalkeeper Nyame, in the Royal AM goal. And in the 9th minute, we saw Sithole's close range shot was easily blocked by the City defense. In the 17th minute of the game, we also saw more opportunities, Royal AM piling up more opportunities. They wasted another goal-scoring opportunity when they went on the counter-attack and they played the ball wide. And it was actually on the right flank, and the ball was actually played to George, but he miskicked his shot. And another golden opportunity went begging once again when Sithole slipped and fell on the ground when he was already in front of goal. So, just that lack of concentration, that lack of composure in front of goal was what actually led Royal AM down, in the opening stages of that particular encounter. But, yes, in the 34th minute of the game, Royal AM did finally make their dominance count. George scored a beautiful hit after receiving a pinpoint cross from Kabelo Mahlasel on the left-hand side. And the home side managed to hang on and did well to go into the halftime break, leading by 1-0. And in the second half, the team started on a positive note and they looked set to increase their lead. The visitors tried, their best brilliantly to knock the ball around and go forward very hard in search of that crucial equalizer. But the home side did so well by concentrating on their game plan and sticking by it. And they did very well to not panic. And I was actually surprised by their performance because in the 57th minute of the game, they actually made it 2. They scored their second goal of the encounter. Through Sithole, he managed to just outpace the visitors' defenders, to actually find the net. And from that particular moment in time, you'd ask yourself, hey, man, it'll really demand a miracle for Royal Cape Town City to actually get back into the game. Because, yeah, man, we also saw in the other games that, Golden Arrows clinched their first victory in 12 games under, Coach Steve Kompela, defeating Polokwane City by 1-0 away from home. And yeah, man, those were basically the results, and it was a much needed 3 points for Abafana Westend away from home. And congratulations once again to Steve Kompela, for getting those much needed points. They really did need those points, you understand? And with regards to the other results from the DStv Premiership, I know you guys don't really watch much of the DStv Premiership. You only watch the big games. So that's why I'll actually be quick and precise, quick and short on this one, right? With regards to all the results, the goal scorers, and what actually happened in those particular match days, those matchups. So I'll start with Moroka Swallows taking on Sekhukhune United. Swallows, the Dube Birds, their woes continue, following that the fact that some of their key players were released and Kompela was also released from his coaching duties, and the fact that they haven't really been doing well. They haven't been getting the ground running. So, yes, they lost by 4-1 at home, at the Dobsonville Stadium to Sekhukhune United Babina Noko. And Sekhukhune United they showed no respect to Moroka Swallows, in their own backyard, and they humiliated the Dube Birds 4-1 by 4-1 at the Dobsonville Stadium. And the goals came from a long injury. Linda Mtambo, he just came back from a long injury. He was on the sidelines for a long time, was the former Orlando Pirates man, and he scored his third goal of the season for Babina Noko. And then Jamie Weber also added, the finishing touches. Tiamo Masia also was also on the score sheet, as well as Tibabwa, Yamba was also on the score sheet, for Sekhukhune United, wrapping up a complete dominant display from Babina Noko as they outclassed their opponents, the Dube Birds. While Jacob Everson, scored Swallows' only consolation goal, which didn't really mean much because the game was already done and dusted. And in the other match day between SuperSport and AmaZulu, that game resulted in a 1-1 draw between Matsatsantsa Pitori as well as Usutu. And, SuperSport United now, they've dropped another crucial points. And it has just been that season for SuperSport United. When they're supposed to be challenging Sundowns, challenging the big guns to actually, clinch some major honors this season, they always just slip up at the crucial moment, because now they've dropped another crucial 3 points, a crucial 2 points, and which now results in them moving to fourth, on the DStv Premiership log standings after a 1-1 draw, against AmaZulu at the Peter Mokaba Stadium. So it was actually Victor Letswalo, who actually handed AmaZulu the lead, and Lyle Lake, leveled matters for SuperSport, but it was just not enough. SuperSport were just not clinical in front of goal. They just lacked the cutting edge. They just could not, create some meaningful chances, and give credit to the AmaZulu defense, And now Matsatsantsa Pitori are basically tied on 32 points with Stellenbosch, who sit third on the log, behind Orlando Pirates. So, yeah, man, it's just a matter of consistency, That's the reason why this Sundowns just has no competition anymore. As for going straight to the Cape, in the Cape Derby between Stellenbosch FC as well as Cape Town Spurs. Stellenbosch and Spurs, once again, they shared the spoils. And it's actually a fairy tale for Cape Town Spurs because now Cape Town Spurs, under the guidance of former Kaizer Chiefs coach Ernst Middendorp, look good during the first half as Asanele, Velebai opened the scoring. You understand? And then, however, it just goes to saying that the Urban Warriors just could not stand the pressure of Stellies, and Ikram Reyners eventually converted from the spot to actually earn Stellies a much needed point. It's actually a surprising result for me because now basically Cape Town Spurs are now unbeaten in their last 4 games. Yeah, yes. And hear me out, Cape Town Spurs are now unbeaten in their last 4 games. They beat AmaZulu, they beat TS Galaxy, they drew with Orlando Pirates, and now they got a draw. An unlikely draw against Orlando Pirates as well as Stellenbosch. So, wow, man. Hey, this is actually a resurgent Cape Town Spurs, team. And it's so surprising. To be honest with you guys, it's really surprising. And I must be honest with you guys. Sorry for that, man. I must be honest with you guys. I was thinking that Cape Town Spurs were going to get relegated come end of the season because imagine they lost their first 10 games of the season and it was like inevitable for them to get relegated, but now they're still well in contention, to actually, surprise many by actually surviving the drop, based on the fact that now they have actually gotten how many points? Basically, they've actually gotten 8 points from their previous 4 games. Basically, they haven't lost a single game. And getting another point away from home. Wow, man. Wow. So yeah, basically, man, Spurs might just surprise us, guys, by actually, surviving the drop. Because right now, they're actually on a resurgent, they're actually on a path, they're actually on the grind, They climbing the ladder, slowly but surely. Richards Bay, pass up. Richards Bay, pass up. Pass up, Richards Bay. Pass up. Yeah, and then in the other game, Richards Bay, again, were held to a goalless draw at the Kings Welitini Stadium to TS Galaxy. So the draw, puts Richards Bay under more pressure as they are now only 2 points ahead of the bottom place Cape Town Spurs. Again, complacency. They were complacent. They thought they just had it in the bag. They thought that Cape Town Spurs were going to continue to struggle. And look now. Cape Town Spurs are catching up. Richards Bay, Pasop. Richards Bay, Pasop. Pasop, Richards Bay, Pasop. Meanwhile, I can just say Syed Ramovic's team is in the middle of the, log table. And remember, TS Galaxy, they were scheduled to play Mamelodi Sundowns during the week. So that game it was actually postponed due to the fact that, there was an unfortunate, tragedy that took place. One of TS Galaxy's, team buses got, into an unfortunate accident, and one supporter lost their lives. So condolences to the family and condolences to TS Galaxy. But we hope to see that things will actually start working out for TS Galaxy in terms of them securing those points and getting the consistency run, consistent results. Yes, Polokwane City 0, Golden Arrows 1. We'll continue with that one. So it was a Sunday afternoon game between Golden Arrows as well as Polokwane City away, at old Peter Mokaba Stadium in Polokwane. So now Golden Arrows, they beat Polokwane City by 1-0, which was thanks to Nduduzo Sbia, who scored the winning goal just 5 minutes before the final whistle. And this is Arrows' first victory, since October 2023. So basically the KwaZulu-Natal side, remained in position 8 on the PSL log standings, and they've now accumulated 26 points with 10 games to go. City, on the other hand, dropped down to 11th spot on the table. So yeah, man, consistency is very important in this league, man. That's the reason why Sundowns teams are not able to catch up to them, because these teams are not consistent. And basically, man, we're not going to talk much about this game, because in other DStv Premiership action, we did see Mamelodi Sundowns take on Chippa United at the Lucas Masterpieces Moripe Stadium in Pretoria. And let's just say it, man, the wait was finally over for the Kabuyelo Nation. You understand? Remember, the Mamelodi Sundowns had a midweek fixture cancelled, postponed, between themselves and TS Galaxy at Mbombela Stadium. It was actually, postponed due to a road crash, and Rulani Mokwena's side were back, to face a confident Chippa side at the Lucas Masterpieces Moripe Stadium on Saturday night. That is basically Rulani Mokwena's old side, right? That's the team that he also did coach before. And he didn't really have much of a successful stint at the Chile Boys, but it was very important for him to gain more coaching experience. And as for Mamelodi Sundowns, it was first half goals by, one of Sundowns by Tebogo Mokoena, and it was actually followed by a late Tashrik Matthews strike, to seal all 3 points for the Brazilians. And that was actually his first goal since joining the Brazilians in the January transfer. I'm talking about Tashrik Matthews. So, of course, Kabuyelo, we knew that they would dominate the game. We just knew it was expected. And yes, it was Tebogo Mokwena's, third goal of the season, the captain. And, now Sundowns extend their lead at the top of the table. Now the result is actually not good news for the chasing pack, because now the emphatic job that was done by the Sundowns players now spelled a new 12-point lead at the top of the standings. So Orlando Pirates now lurk in second place with only 33 points and 3 extra games played. So meanwhile, the Sundowns players are preparing for Tswane derby, whereas the Brazilians will take on 4th place SuperSport United on Tuesday, the 12th of March, basically at Loftus or the same venue, Lucas Moripe Stadium. Or, I'm corrected, the kickoff is set to take place at Lucas Moripe Stadium at 9:30. So some of the Nedbank Cup action will also follow the Tswane derby, where Maritzburg United will visit the league champions on Sunday, the 17th of March. So yes, congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns, congratulations to Rulani Mokoena and his players. Congratulations once again to Tebogo Mokoena for getting another Man of the Match award, putting in a decent shift, for the Brazilians once again. And yeah, great 3 points for Sundowns, man. Okay, the Soweto derby. Yeah, I mean, if you're South African or if you're from Africa, wherever you are around the world, I'm sure your eyes were glued to the screen. But obviously, if you're South African or you're from the Southern African region, your eyes had to be glued to the screen because of the big derby. The biggest derby in African football was the Soweto derby, the clash between Orlando Pirates as well as Kaizer Chiefs. In the 180th meeting between these two giants, took place at the FNB Stadium in Johannesburg yesterday afternoon. So basically, it was a 5-goal thriller. as Orlando Pirates claimed the Soweto Derby bragging rights with the victory over Kaizer Chiefs. So Orlando Pirates, staged a comeback, to secure a 3-2 victory in the Soweto Derby against Kaizer Chiefs yesterday at the FNB Stadium, right? It was actually a game of two halves, to say the least. To be quite frank, it was Ashley Dupree, it's like, to be honest, Pirates now have actually made Dupree look like a world-class player. And basically, Dupree is a world-class player. Even though he hasn't been at his best form, of late, but he is a world-class player. And it's funny how these big games, that's where you always have to prove yourself that you are world-class. And Dupree did that. His brace gave Chiefs the lead in the first half. Pirates fought back with the Saleng brace and a stunner from Lebitso, and Buccaneers claimed, Derby bragging rights from that point onwards. So I want to just get straight into what happened. We saw both Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates made a couple of changes. We saw Kimvudi being taken out, and then we saw Saleng making a surprising start, in the derby. And on the side of Kaizer Chiefs, we saw, what did we see from Kaizer Chiefs, man? It was actually an unchanged lineup if you look at the front three. Duba. Utuba was taken out, and then Dupree came in for a start, right? From that team that defeated Golden Arrows by 1-0. And then we saw a change also in the midfield. We saw Castillo coming in from Teto in that midfield of the park. And then we also saw Frosler coming back in, replacing... Who did he replace? Replacing Jabulo Ngobo. So it was actually Jabulo Ngobo who was sacrificed. And then we saw Kwinika being taken from right back, being driven into his normal centre-back position, partnering with Kevin Msimango in that centre-back, partnership, as well as we did see Frosler starting on the right-hand side, of defense for Kaizer Chiefs. Then we did see Castillo making another start, in the midfield, replacing Sibongiseni Mthethwa. And in attack, it was only Ashley Dupree. That was the only change. So Orlando Pirates only made two changes. We saw Lebitso coming in, for Monyani. And then we also saw... we did see Kimvudi being replaced, and then Saleng made an unlikely, start for the first time in many months or so. And we also saw Tswane coming in as well. Tswane also made an unlikely start. I mean, that was very surprising from Coach Kevin Johnson, bringing in Tswane, a man who hasn't played since November. He hadn't played since November, and imagine starting him in a derby. It was weird, but he didn't really have much of a bad performance, did him, Tswane. I mean, he really did contribute. If you look at the first and second goal, he did so well. He actually contributed to the second goal, which was so great. The fact that he made a run, he timed his pass to Pule Modi finding Ashley Dupree, for a wonderful, neat finish into the top corner. What a brilliant goal that was. So, but before we get there, I would like us to actually get straight into what actually happened in the game. So, it was the fact that, the Glamour boys, got off to a flying start when Ashley Dupree broke the deadlock, within the first 6 minutes of the game. He unleashed a powerful left-footed strike in the top corner after being set up by Pule Modi. And as the game progressed, we saw the Sea Robbers, they intensified pressure on their opponents, resulting in Monapule Saleng finding the equalizer in the 24th minute with the left foot shot from the edge of the box. And that was brilliant play from Pirates, to say the least, because you look at how Pirates actually played. It was a fact that, okay, they attacked, right? So it was Masangwani. Mart was the man who gave away possession. Mart is the guilty party in that one. Yusuf Mart gave away possession unnecessarily. He was not focused. Yusuf Mart was not focused on the game. He gave away possession unnecessarily. But give credit to Pirates, putting on the pressure. Masangwani putting in the pressure, right? And then we saw it was a 50-50 ball between him and Zita Kwinika. But Kwinika, in that kind of instance as a defender, you don't overcommit. Remember when it's a 50-50, right? If the ball is a 50-50, it can be won by either you or the opponent. As a defender, you don't slide in. You just put in a foot. You understand? That's what you do. You put in a foot. You don't go in and you overcommit with the sliding tackle like that when it's a 50-50 as a defender. You don't do that. You understand? Because obviously chances are you're more likely to lose. And it was a 50-50 ball. Give credit to Patrick Masangwani, who did very well in that instance, getting winning position for Orlando Pirates, setting up Tshegofatso Mabasa. It was actually, it was like the front four. Mabasa was in the right position at the right time. Mofokeng was making a run on the blind side. And then we saw Saleng coming in, supporting Mabasa. So Masangwani Tito, he found Mabasa, and what a great first touch. Just great first ball. One touch pass to find Saleng. Saleng created some space for himself, worked the opening, fired in a shot. There was no way he was going to let go of that opportunity, and got the much needed equalizer for Orlando Pirates to bring them level on terms, right? And despite the fact that the Buccaneers, were gaining momentum after leveling the score, they actually struggled to create clear-cut opportunities, And however, just before the halftime break, it was actually Dupree who secured his brace to give Kaizer Chiefs a 2-1 lead going into the break. And just to let you guys know, it was a historic brace for Ashley Dupree, because Ashley Dupree becomes the first player in the history of the Soweto Derby to score a brace in the first half. I repeat, Ashley Dupree becomes the first player in the history of the derby to score a brace in the first half. You understand? It has never been done before since the beginning of the PSL era. So Ashley Dupree broke a record. He's the first player to score a brace in a derby. You understand? In the first half, in a derby. Congratulations, man, Dupree. Congratulations, man. You understand? Shesha Keza. Ashley Dupree. Shesha Keza. Ichubane Matota. Aye. You understand? But that was a great goal from Kaizer Chiefs. Great counter-attack it was. I mean, Mart did well to win back possession, setting up Mtanzani, who made a great run. Mtanzani made a great run, and he made a wild-time pass to Pulemodi. So Ashley Dupree in space. Dupree fired the ball into the top corner. What a brilliant goal that was. And give credit to Kaizer Chiefs. That was such a great counter-attack. It was, man. It was such a great counter-attack. And what else can I just, pick from that goal? Now Pulemodi has got 3 assists now in 2 games, in his last 2 games. Remember, he did get the assist in that, victory over Golden Arrows, his former club, setting up Duba, who netted in a brilliant goal, a wonder strike, and he got both assists. He's the one who provided Dupree with both goals. So Pulemodi is actually a great player for Kaizer Chiefs. He's a great asset. The thing that only lacks in Pulemodi's game is that he's not consistent. That's the only thing that lacks in his game, because from this Kaizer Chiefs side, the only players that I really see who are really worth, donning that famous gold and black jersey, the famous gold and black jersey, is Pulemodi, Ashley Dupree, Samkelo Zwane, although he hasn't been playing that much, as well as Kevin Msimango. Those are the only players that I can really see are really putting in the effort, and they're donning that badge with pride. And yes, Kaizer Chiefs went in 2-1 with an unlikely 2-1 lead going into the break. And, in the second half, we saw Jose Riviero's side, came out much stronger. And Thabiso Lebitso's long-range strike, found the back of the net in the 58th minute to actually level the score at 2-2. But let's talk about that goal also. Kaizer Chiefs, man. The defending was just horrendous. If you look at that cross, before the cross actually found Lebitso, you see Castillo as well as Mart, they were ball watching. Kaizer Chiefs should have really done better in terms of, dealing with that ball. That ball was never supposed to reach Lebitso in the first place. But because you look at Mart as well as Castillo, they were ball watching. They were not focused. They were not paying attention to the game. They were just ball watching. They let the ball go across them, and then it found Lebitso, who was in space, who netted a wonder strike. That's the problem about Kaizer Chiefs. Kaizer Chiefs came into this game. You could see that their performance in the derby yesterday, they had no plan. There was no structure. There was no sort of, like meaningful intent of wanting, of seeing them winning the game. There was just no structure in place. There was no solid foundation. Because you look at the midfield, Castillo and Mart, that's a bad combination, And the fact that Castillo was not at his A game, He was just off in yesterday's game. Marto was also off. Yes, Mdantsane tried, but the fact that the coach should have just replaced Marto as well as Castillo, and Marto should have been given a red card for that tackle on Saleng. That was a very horrendous tackle. He should have been given his marching orders in the first half. But I guess it happens. Referees do miss that. Maybe they do it purposefully. Maybe it's just that they missed that. But that was a very dangerous tackle by Yusuf Mart. And both him and Castillo are suspended for Chiefs' next game. You understand? So, I guess Kaizer Chiefs, man, that midfield was very weak. Not solid at all. And they just could not compete against that Pirates midfield of Makahleni, Makaula, as well as Miguel team. And we saw Saleng, he then completed his brace as well, in the 68th minute, putting Pirates ahead. That was just a clever ball from Tito Masangwani. What a clever ball that was to actually find Saleng. And now, as the match did continue, it neared its end. The tension remained high, but, Pirates were able to secure the massive 3-2 victory, propelling them to second place in the Premier Soccer League standings, while Chiefs find themselves in 7th position. And give a shout out to Bruce Vuma for making those late saves, to actually, because the game could have been 5-2, it could have been 4-2, you understand? So give credit once again to, Bruce Vuma for making those saves, especially denying Mufokeng at the last minute of the game. And once again, Saleng has found his rhythm. Dupree has also found his rhythm. With Hugo Bruce, watching from the stands, you understand? What a great way to prove yourself. What a great way to actually show that you still have class. You understand? Both Saleng as well as Ashley Dupree. And what I can just say is that congratulations once again to Patrick Masangwani. What a great performance it was from him. He deserved that Man of the Match award. Even though there were many players that really played so well. But I guess, let's just look at the fact that Chiefs, they relinquished their lead twice during the game, failing to assert control, and they were actually outplayed by Pirates for the duration of the game. And what do we look forward to? What's next for both these clubs? Now the Buccaneers are set, to play on Saturday, the 16th of March, when they face Hungry Lions in the Nedbank Cup round of 16. Meanwhile, Amakosi next face, Cape Town's City at the DHL Stadium in a league clash on the 30th of March, with the Soweto Giants having been eliminated from the Nedbank Cup, embarrassingly, by Milford. So we actually wait to see more, man. We wait to see more how Amakosi will actually be able to finish off their season, because it was just not, it was an entertaining derby, 5 goals being scored, but to be honest, no, man, it was just not, it wasn't really the best of performances, to say the least, from Kaizer Chiefs. It really was not the best of performances, and they just did not have any plan whatsoever. It's like both those goals came by luck, but I guess, man, they could really do better. Kaizer Chiefs can really do better. And again, we saw Hugo Bruce, he named 8 Mamelodi Sundowns players, an Orlando Pirates star and former Kaizer Chiefs defender Siyabonga Ngezana and the Bafana preliminary squad. So former Kaizer Chiefs defender Siyabonga Ngezana got the nod for Hugo Bruce's preliminary Bafana squad for upcoming international friendlies. And what we saw the fact that Hugo Bruce has named basically an identical Bafana 32-man preliminary squad, to the team that finished third in the 2023 African Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire last month. So Bafana are set to take on Andorra and Algeria in international friendlies later this month, as Bruce will use that opportunity to iron out, his team ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers in June this year. Bafana are involved in the FIFA Series International Friendlies pilot project, scheduled to take place in Algeria from the 18th to the 26th of March, right? And the goalkeepers, we saw Ronan Williams, obviously, Bruce Vuma, Ricardo Goss, as well as Veli Moto of Amazulu, right? And then the defenders, we saw Sydney Mobi of Sekhukhune United, Bradley Cross of Golden Arrows, Tapelo Morena, Nkosinathi Sibisi, Aubrey Mudiba, Siana Xulu, Motobi Mvala, Tapelo Xoki, Siyabonga Ngezana, as well as Khuliso Mudau. Then the midfielders, obviously, we saw Teboho Mokoena, Goodman Musele, Jaden Adams, Pepele Stole, Tabang Monare, as well as Grant Mahama. Hopefully I get to see him play for Bafana, the SuperSport man. I'm really looking forward to that opportunity of seeing him, playing for the national team. And then who else? Themba Zwane in attack. We see Themba Zwane, Zakhele Lepasa, Ozwena Palis, Patrick Masangwani, Mihlali Mayambela, Mondli Mbandra, Mlondi Mbandra of Amazulu, Ikram Reyners of Stellenbosch, Tsepang Muremi of Amazulu, Elias Mokwan of Sekhukhune United, Evidence Makgopa of Orlando Pirates, as well as Thapelo Maseko. But remember, Thapelo Maseko is still injured, so we'll see if he will be able to make the final 23-man squad. And this time, the first time that Bafana assembled since beating Democratic Republic of Congo in the AFCON third place. However, Bruce is expected, to actually trim his side to a smaller group to take the FIFA series in Algeria. Yes, in Algeria. Yeah. And basically, man, we're not going to talk much about this game because in other DStv Premiership action, we did see Mamelodi Sundowns take on Chippa United at the Lucas Masterpieces Moripe Stadium in Pretoria. And let's just say it, man, the wait was finally over for the Kabu Yellow Nation. You understand? Remember the Mamelodi Sundowns had a midweek fixture cancelled, postponed, between themselves and TS Galaxy at Mbombela Stadium. It was actually, postponed due to a road crash, and Rulani Mokoena's side were back to face a confident Chippa side at the Lucas Masterpieces Moripe Stadium on Saturday night. That is basically Rulani Mokwena's old side, right? That's the team that he also did coach before. And he didn't really have much of a successful stint at the Chile Boys, but it was very important for him to gain more coaching experience. And as for Mamelodi Sundowns, it was first half goals by, one of Sundowns by Tebogo Mokoena, and it was actually followed by a late Tashreeq Matthews strike, to seal all 3 points for the Brazilians. And that was actually his first goal since joining the Brazilians in the January transfer. I'm talking about Tashreeq Matthews. So, of course, Kabu Yellow, we knew that they would dominate the game. We just knew it was expected. And yes, it was Tebogo Mokwena's, third goal of the season, the captain. And now Sundowns extend their lead at the top of the table. Now the result is actually not good news for the chasing pack, because now the emphatic job that was done by the Sundowns players now spelled a new 12-point lead at the top of the standings. So Orlando Pirates now lurk in second place with only 33 points and 3 extra games played. So meanwhile, the Sundowns players are preparing for Tswane derby, whereas the Brazilians will take on 4th place SuperSport United on Tuesday, the 12th of March, basically at Loftus or the same venue, Lucas Moripe Stadium. Or, I'm corrected, the kickoff is set to take place at Lucas Moripe Stadium at 9:30. So some of the Nedbank Cup action will also follow the Tswane derby, where Maritzburg United will visit the league champions on Sunday, the 17th of March. So, yes, congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns, congratulations to Rulani Mokoena and his players. Congratulations once again to Tebogo Mokoena for getting another Man of the Match award, putting in a decent shift, for the Brazilians once again. And yeah, great 3 points for Sundowns, man. Okay, good morning. Bubesi Mphathi Mhlaba here. Welcome once again to Football is a Religion. I'll be quick and precise, So I'll just be talking about the Tswane derby that took place between Mamelodi Sundowns as well as SuperSport United at Loftus Versfeld Stadium. It was the Tswane derby, the derby of the capital, the nation's capital. Yes, it is not as, major, maybe big in terms of like numbers, where it's like numbers are concerned, when I'm talking about support, right? And in terms of like anticipation by the nation, it's not as big as the Soweto derby, but yes, it is a derby, and it is 2 formidable sides that clashed against each other. 2 formidable sides that have got a massive history. 2 formidable sides that have done so well over the past. And look, these are 2 sides that have shown that they can compete at the highest level. But however, in this particular encounter, it was just all square. Because a formidable Mamelodi Sundowns team, they were frustrated by SuperSport United in a pretty much intense Tswane derby, to say the least. And Mamelodi Sundowns do, however, extend their unbeaten run in the PSL, to about, they extend their PSL, run. But, however, they were held to a 1-1 draw against SuperSport United at Loftus Versfeld, So the result does see Masandawana go 13 points clear at the top of the standings, having just won 14, and they've now drawn 4 of their last 18 matches with an overall unbeaten run of about 42 games now. Yeah, Sundowns have an overall unbeaten run of 42 games currently. And SuperSport climbed 1 place to 3rd with an inferior goal difference to Orlando Pirates. But, both teams are equal on 33 points from 20 matches that were being played so far. And Sundowns, they opened the scoring on the half-hour mark after a stunning long-range strike from Teboho Mokoena, former SuperSport United boy. And, it left the opposing goalkeeper, Washington Arubi, sprawling, But then Kevin Hunt's charges, they were not to be knocked out though. They just equalized 3 minutes later when former Masandawana winger Lyle Lake whipped in a beautiful free kick, into the box, and then Bradley Grobler finished at the back post. So now the defending league champions had the better opportunities in the second half with Thembinkosi Lodge. He was the closest to go forward, but he was denied by Washington Arubi. And there were some few, penalty incidences. We saw the fact that SuperSport also had a penalty shout, and Mamelodi Sundowns also had a penalty shout. And both of those were penalties for me because Lodge was fouled, but unfortunately he was given a yellow card for simulation. But that was a clear penalty. Even Bradley Grobler was also impeded, which even resulted in him getting an injury. So I don't understand how that was not given as a penalty. But I guess we will get into those kind of talking points, some other time, anytime during the week, as we continue with proceedings of the Nedbank Cup, and then we get back to league proceedings next week, come end of the month, because now it's the international break that we are approaching.
Salenga team Makaula Lebitso Mufukeng Mabasa Patrick Maswanganyi ambulance yasethembisa ethola lonke uhlobo lesiguli iqhamukisa ithi tito sobona uzobuka nanti bench olisanda bazodlala abadlali ke abathathu kanti ke phakathi nenkundla ubheke lapha ke Captain Makaula isithina sika Mahlalela into evula ifridge ingasebenzi kahle some prize ngizokutshela nje ngayo ake sibheke lapha ke iKaizer Chiefs uvumo ngavumi Shanti Ekwinika Msimango Ofrosla Mtanzane Okutazana utanze Mtanzane Kogu Mtanzana Stanze Mtanzane Mart Castillo Modi Saile Ashley Duprie Aushe Shakeza ukuthi siyaphuza phake emuva sifiso hlanti ichopa indiza ke enophephela ke emhlane ukhona lapha ke uRiver Froslam eBawoti into ezofasa ke ifasile elapha ke phakathi nenkundla ngibona lapha ke Edson Castillo istiletho bathi nje faka icox siyephathini mntanami amehla ngembukela Thenjo lapha ke kunompempe akuthule ndu 12 unyuye yini Zobuka mgijimo Kalunde ngemava awumathuza tabesi makelekethe eyisamba nesobe simukoti shikasona ngathi sinyazulali eyisiphakathi lento khonga mkhongi sayile asibhekana lithuba Pule Modi uza nje uphethe imvula mlomo ubuza lapha ke Dion Hotho ukuthi uyangivulela yini noma ngene ngenkani uthi uHotho uyongena lapha ko Olisanta wangena umkhongi ubona ngapha ke Pule Modi phansi uthi unomphempe umdlalo omusha uqhubeke Patrick Tito Maswanganye ikhipha lapha ke Pascal nokusho right Omar Faith Mufukenga phakathi eboxini Mufukenga udistende nalithuba ino davuma akubhekele ntedwetshwe lapha right Omar Faith uyazi ukuthi ke kubalekile ubathatha kubafake phakathi eboxini akubheka nje leya pass yakhe onside ukuthiwa sebenza uvuma ngavumi sebenzile lapha ke Bruce engaphakathi nenkundla ke manje Captain Makaula isidina sika Mahlalela into evula ifridge ingasebenzi Tito sebenza sithakunika ngiyazama ukwenza ke izinto zenzeke sebenzile lapha ke zithakunika Patrick Tito Maswanganye wangena phakathi eboxini sebenza lapha ke zithakunika wasebenza uzithakunika sekubhalwa Swanganye asibheka lapha ke ibhola Munatu wayiketsetsa Pule Modi phakathi eboxini nalithuba Mtanzane Orlando Pirates eitas dance thina nangumdantsane futhi ufuna ukhipha lapha ke Pascal nokusho Sheshakeza phakathi eboxini oyino danda ayalidla iphokethe abe Kaizer Chiefs namhlanje basebenzisa lapha ke ikhala Yusuf Mart futhi uyifanga phansi kwengcindezi Yusuf Mart Tito Maswanganyi ufuna ngaphakathi enkundla Mamelodi Sundowns Khanatho iphutha elenziwe Yusuf Mart wadayisa ibhola Yusuf Mart yathi Orlando Pirates nemali zolithenga ubuhlakani bukaTswane Mabasa ebona lapha ke umkhuthuzi yadlala TV yena ke amigos para siempre engathi ke Kaizer Chiefs yona khona ke ngo-2014 idlala lapha ke Orlando Pirates ke ngothulile Dion Hoto ke shelela ngakoshuna enkani uya lapha ke Dion Hoto obecela ke indlela Ora ke ibhola lakhe lasephumela lapha ke icela lwebo uyagoqa ke lapha kophelepele babela basentia sebenza lapha ke Yusuf Mart ulidlile leli bhola ubudatsana udatsana ngoba ubudatsana Tswane asibhekana lithuba le Kaizer Chiefs unathi wayiketsetsa Duprie Khanatho na yale mpahla ke Kaizer Chiefs yenza izinto zenzeke lidliwa Yusuf Mart wabona umdatsana egqoka umdatsana sidanse emdansane wadansisa umakhawula wazoguqa ngamadolo Pule Modi ubona lapha ke ushesha geza yadlala TV imali noma ibhokisi othukhethi ibhokisi kuvele phuma ushesha geza Ashley Duprie 2 Kaizer Chiefs 1 Orlando Pirates Izola libonene right over Raifetsa Indo Tavuma Izothola ikhona kiki Orlando Pirates Captain Makaulistina Skamahlalela Tswane Mabasa tactical awareness yakhe is on point ubona ibhola lingakafiki nakuye ukuthi ke ubani osenze irun right over Raifetsa ezobe nomfuke mfuthi ufuna lapha ke uDion Hoto phakathi eboxini madoda baliyeka leli bhola Lebitso Khanatho right over Raifetsa ufuna uDion Hoto hlakaniphile uHoto ushaya ke cutback abangadila nalo leli bhola bamphelezela uLebitso bamphathela ikhwama ubungazufunga ukuthi etaxini egoli wasayidedela leyo nto yadlala TV imali noma ibhokisi othukhethi ibhokisi kuvele phuma uLebitso enza nje nathi Kaizer Chiefs indlela ngokushesha ibhola sibheka lapha koNqobo phakathi eboxini efuna nalithuba madoda General Tata Sonke Msimango idlala ngokushesha Orlando Pirates liphakathi eboxini Mamelodi down from 2-1 down nanze mnyama onside Mamelodi Sundowns bakuthuze yadlala TV imali noma ibhokisi othukhethi ibhokisi kuvele kuphuma umkhuthuzi Mamelodi Sundowns ekhuthuza iKaizer Chiefs enza nje
Mamelodi Sundowns wa mthemo tlata takacheno William Sungu Mokwena libusa mtwinyelwa ayente Mutiba Lunga liena kama shalule na Timiko Silot li Lucas Costa Ribeiro naye Ribeiro tahlaba inhlaphe etharu takacheno ke tsebi Chipa United mthemo tle liona itlametla mathatha msimba kacheno Sepa heki yona kamona Chipa United itlahlelwane Nhlapo Nwabali Magele Chabalala the big animal Kamis Martin Pochenpolo Kwaiba Mahlatsi Musile lena kamani Evanka Bienvenu how repent vino kalime la French this is Spanish uri atakale papadia mutemote ertole pele kapapadia busum patati la kacheno rebonana atlatercho le kai ripote le kai hakso dor fela hekala papadia 2015 2016 le ka 2019 2020 kapadio ko fela ni laping habu Sundowns Ribeiro sabolo kabana unari akibati ubapala kantu satsibina etantswa lang wanga kwa tutsiba na etantswa lang ye ilahla hule kwa chineke kabolo telele kama muna bia kana kam roko na chula una raha potom kala go Temo Mukwena vintage Temo Mukwena happy mtemote Saban Tswane atloitse mo hlaba ba mo tseba Africa jikelele go radi wota tjena motšheno wa itseba ntho buang ka ena Stanley Nobali a mo petsa ka tanfas a mo tabla ka tanfas ya duma mothemotle khona Hlatsan Maunde Street ba tsamona te banka Sundowns a tsamona te ona Mukwena a re tankangwe tankabedi tankararu it's a shoe watsiba shoe Kiba said Mamelodi Sundowns babidon tabatim Kalafatim penyar bala Sundowns Hakam Sotokan Costa Ribeiro Waibita Saludir Matata Bona Chiwagam Rakon Munare Usulu be holba batwela itola kanki Juna Sanasi pesa skatemo Muna to zwa bathu mo Akbato won Ibla akbato tseba Akbato wona Ibla akbato tseba Naile Kamani, Costa Ribeiro, Kiamut, Tibam Raukamani Novali, Tabajwana, has party fela village, has party fela, Ganit, Kena Kaman he, Ken Richard, Ki Maka Registara, Ndundu, Tabajwana. Arbo, unataka mchocho kwana Chipa United Mariners. Bona! Hapa kama Ronald Williams. Kwa mama tikao fela Ronald Williams. Kwa kama ni kwa ibare lina kiafuma. Halibolo sinti he kita kala tuna pili. Ina kibola na pijana ya topa sa Chipa United ili ya nsakamanki munna ili nyena Ronald Williams. Young man Kuboni, Tau Kuboni, Lima Ngwenya Lwena Kuboni, Mtsidisi Kuboni at Sundowns. That's Africa Bora, making football look so simple, so easy. Harbon. Baita Poso, Evanga, Tibam Rakamani, number 1 Africa Bora. Seka Kamani Musalibusa. Khetlo Labubedi. Aita Cheda Kamani, Yena Williams, Yena Muna Kaman Sungu, Sinyabol Kabra Kaman, Teruva Ball, Ayente, Bitamutu, Asacha Slepe, with a Palarakon, Mampi. Katola Berry Williams, Achiba Bolo, Enia Cantante, in a person to Motanekam Raula Sundowns. Even a Gubalita. Harbo, Sundowns, Ribeiro, Famutu ball, Amufa, literally Amufa, Ribeiro, Amufa, Fi, Amufa. Can the Ferragari Famutu ball, Ribeiro and Fastibatiban, up one Amu pass, Hunter Felachi, Hamona Tijwan, here, Towns. Spaces are Sundowns unbelievable. White Tiba way. Kenya Motu. Come on, short one. Harmon and Timmy Gosilos. Pona! Shalulile. Peganin somebody in Tanam. Peganin somebody in Tanam. Luakaina. Peter Shalulile. I saw a foot of corn. Agum Yamachu. Naile Kamani, Temicus Lodge, party time. Gerbone, but I sang on a Sundowns. Ribeiro, Aente bona atswa ka mane monna Stanley Nopale Duha kena ka mane Matet ba mo nkela bo Hamunat atsala mafura Costa Ribeiro ka motsio tswa kwa ke o motho ai team hana ka ranga bro ka mane monna ra chata di fester Roni agene ntsaka hungotsi mo kyaba evanka kyomutu hana kao na kamane evanka. You don't have to carry the ball into the net. Shoot on sight. Tubula makazinsa fa ndlala mtanam. I quit. Ba khono tlaba fela ntlhatse supile against Sundowns in 21 league games since 2012-2013. Bona. Mabani usamkolo kaudimo. The last time they scored against Sundowns got 2018-2019. Hanebakhlulwa 3-2. Chiba United. I do not see that the cooking master, the chef. Bona kamane monna Kenya bolo. Bona bole koti. Hana kamrao kamane. Tabla ke first touch. Serino. Get regex. Am tabu sarbo. Bole kot. Kaserete. Bona. Pota mkalo kachuko. Shishiliza mshishi Tembazwa Nsabu waka Antatino Brian Leboko Lebila Holwa Kaya bona Mutono ke trigger Kaya bona trigger Antle Kaka niti go ke trigger ntwi Ya Antle felaji So ito maketa buti Tankia bidi jangera Simo Pasiriti mo Abilianti ufona bukwa kai Skira kwa lana kantle ba fitu Awe tujwa Yeah, out. Get a ball there. Goal! Nkaya Pili Matthews, Tashik Matthews, Nkaya Pili. Jersey Sundowns kaya pili huyo nakamona mutemote ilinyona DStv Premiership hasala khutla mose umawake vindicated Rolani Mkwena kaona tangwanena musoma wake lele ba mujela joy ya bo joy Tswane Matthews bula msebetsi wae kisona ka rakbone ure shipata hlaba ntlamona sexty ba fela go Sundowns ikaba le tlholo engwe hape tsatsi la ka jeno champagne pass jwalo ka ba bitsa botemotle e tabola motho e mo sia le tjena ya mo mamu